Boys, today we have some very sad news to talk about. Apparently, Genshin's Switch page is finally gone. Rest in peace. For the 4 people that were actually waiting for this port to finally come out, well, it's gone now. I'm sure the entire Genshin community is in shambles right now after hearing this disheartening news. Maybe it's gonna be on Switch too, hopefully, since it was not Switch 2. Releasing it on current Switch wouldn't make sense, so yeah, that console is basically at the end of its life cycle. It wouldn't make sense to release a live service game with long years ahead of it for a console that's about to be replaced. It would only drag it behind long term. Switch 2 is rumored to release late this year, early next year, so the options are Switch 2, Hoyo signed an exclusivity deal, so no Genshin on other consoles than PlayStation. They gave up on the idea due to technical whatever reason. 2 definitely, it was clear the moment Aloy became a playable character. I don't think it was an exclusivity deal, to be honest. I think when looking at the Switch's performance, like, what can we say is the most demanding Switch game? Tears of the Kingdom, right? And that game looks really good, but at the same time, Genshin looks better. Let's be honest now. Let's not kid ourselves, guys. Genshin does look better and more demanding than Tears of the Kingdom. And especially when you have all those effects going on, it really does drop your frames if your GPU isn't really strong. It's Switch over, Nintendo over, I guess Nintendo don't. As a long-time Switch owner, while I would love to have Genshin more portable, it's too big for my phone, I just feel like the current Switch iteration is not at all powerful enough to support this game. I've had less demanding ported games that run in such a buggy way that I think it would be a frustrating experience. Here's to hoping Switch 2, whatever that may be, packs some more power so we can get games like this ported across and performing well. So if any of y'all have played Genshin on mobile when it first came out and are still playing it today, you're likely to have noticed a massive drop in performance. For example, I was able to play at basically 60 FPS on medium settings on my flagship phone at the time, but now I barely get 20. The performance has degraded to such a degree that you need a flagship phone to be able to run the game in an enjoyable way. To be able to, clear the spiral abyss, like, that requires a good phone, especially because the worse your phone, the slower enemies load in, the slower you can get your attacks in. It just gets really choppy. And because of that, I was overjoyed when I was able to switch to PC because I got a PC, I didn't have one before. There is also the fact that the game has way too big file size for the Switch and constant updates. The only way I see them implementing it is through cloud gaming. But the thing this guy has to realize is that Genshin takes a lot less storage on mobile devices. Like, compared to PC, it seems we need about 100 GB to be able to store all the shit that was given to us. Store all those empty open worlds, if you know what I'm saying. Compared to Android and iOS, which is just 35 GB, that's 3 times less the size, and I think they could have done the same on Switch as well. So I'd say storage is a very secondary problem. Just get a Steam Deck if you want a portable experience without a new, or an ROG Ally if you are afraid of Linux. Wait, I thought Genshin doesn't run on Linux. Not sure what sort of programming fuckery is happening with the deck, but it works fine on mine after simply following first random guide on YouTube. Well, that's weird. So it doesn't work out of the box. Those are some bad business practices, miHoYo. You don't want people on your Steam Deck running that shit. I'll be surprised if it doesn't end up being a Switch 2 launch game. I mean, it probably is gonna be. Well, now, is anyone really that surprised? Which users in shambles? I forgot there was supposed to be a Switch port, so did they. True, man. Honestly, the Switch experience would probably be too crappy anyway, that it would probably hurt Genshin's reputation more than anything. Switch's hardware is just so dated at this point. Most modern phones are more powerful than a Switch and the experience there is barely passed. So I did want to add this. If Tears of the Kingdom was ported to mobile and was optimized for Android, it could probably run it better than the Switch, which is, yeah, that is pretty sad. Nintendo is literally forcing you to play on a device, which most of the time has an FPS below 30, which by today's day and age is, less than ideal to say the least. In comparison, I'm pretty sure mobile phones would be able to run the game a lot better. That's just my thoughts though. Imagine if Honkai Star Rail gets a Switchport before Genshin Impact. Actually, because there's no open world, I'd say that is a lot more plausible. But at the same time, Hongshit Starbucks is kind of, I don't know, in certain areas the FPS drop is noticeable. I don't think Hongshit Starbucks is that well optimized compared to Genshin, but just like this guy says, it would probably be a lot easier to port to Genshin. Mainly due to the fact that it's just instance based. Oh shit guys, this guy was on Copium. Not gonna lie, I was kind of hoping for it to still come because I'm going abroad for a few months in the fall and I didn't want to do the Natlin quest on my phone. But I guess I'll have to suffer alongside the other mobile players. But it was to be expected, the Switch is too old to be able to run a massive game like Genshin, at least this current version. Fortunately that announcement was just pulled out of their ass. Who actually thought they would be able to support the game all the way to the end, which meant that they would have to keep the performance on par from start to finish, and that just isn't fucking plausible. Especially when you get to Sumeru, you do see the game get a lot more demanding. Not something a little old Switch can run. Not surprised, since Nintendo is a legal, greedy nightmare to work with. I don't think it's Nintendo's fault though. I genuinely think the Switch is just not powerful enough to be able to run it. Finally, it was ridiculous. Already 4 years ago, announcing a port that they obviously weren't going to make. Well, this guy's really pessimistic, guys. I don't think this guy should be part of our wholesome community. Fuck him. I wouldn't be surprised if fault is entirely on Nintendo's part. Alright, let's see your reasoning, man. Considering Hoyo doesn't plan on releasing their other games on Switch and never shared news on this version being postponed or converted to Switch, my best bet is that Nintendo completely fumbled during their talks with them, thinking they can have a piece of that gotcha cake. Also, this guy thinks Nintendo just wanted a larger cut than the other companies. I mean, that is a very Nintendo thing to do, but I don't know, man. Considering Genshin is already on mobile and can be installed on Steam Deck, it's not possible Hoyo decided dealing with main villain of game industry is just not worth it. Perhaps it is, my man. I've been waiting for so long, hoping that one day. Bro, this guy is so sad. Oh no, dude. Oh no, shit. Fuck, I knew it was Copium when it took longer than a year. Bro, people were actually hoping it was gonna come out still. These are actual victims. Damn. The Switch is a 7-year-old console. I reckon at this point they'll wait for the next console. Finally they admit it. True, they could have said this shit 2 years ago, but they decided not to. Finally, after 4 years, Switch won't be able to run Genshin. Considering how awful it runs on PS4, I never expected this game to release on Switch either. Not awful at all, apart from having a little longer loading times, it runs pretty good. Is it awful? I don't have a PS4, but like, doesn't this game stably run on 30 FPS? Like crazy? Don't forget to tell us in the comments below if you know about that. But all in all, it is a sad day for all Switch owners. You won't be able to get Breath of the Waifu on your Nintendo console. And it's just really sad, disheartening news overall. I may not have a Switch, but I feel sympathy for all those longing Switch gamers that weren't able to play Genshin because of this disaster, waiting for this game to come out on their platform. It's just really sad overall. And I don't know how those people are going to be able to move on. It's all because of those greedy executors at miHoYo. Sai, I know you're out there, and know this. One day, we shall get your ass for doing this disgusting shit. When that day comes, justice shall be carried out. The end of the world comes closer by each passing day, it seems. Let me know what y'all think in the comments below. Only quality content here, folks. Subscribe, please.